Hey, what's up, everyone? My name's Lionel. Hey, I'm your host for LT Productions, and you are watching I Watch You Watch. We are covering the return of Sistas on BET that airs every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is the mid-season premiere. So this is 7B, episode 12. I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Let's get into this. All right, so we start off with Karen. She's a little distraught. She's waiting on her mama to come on in, and she tells her exactly what's going on with these paternity tests. And the mama says, you know, have you told both of the fathers? She said, not yet. It's a lot for her. It's overwhelming, of course. But mama always steers her in the right way and to do the right thing and to tell everyone what they need to do. Zach calls thinking he was going to get the paternity results. Karen asked, you know, could we meet tomorrow night for dinner and I'll tell you everything. She's nervous and all that good stuff, and Zach agrees. On the other side of town, Andy and Fatima are confronting Gary. Gary's being a smart aleck. It's a little bit too early in the video to start saying any type of curse words. They're questioning him. Where is Penelope? Blah, 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 blah. He flips it on Andy and basically says, you know, how do I know you haven't done something with her? What if you wanted to get rid of her just to be back in my life again? Da, 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 da. Being a jerk, just being crazy. Fatima ends up putting the knife to his throat. He still doesn't say anything. They end up leaving, and as they're walking out the door, Andy notices a blood spot on the wall. That's quite crazy because I wouldn't expect Gary to have any loose ends like that, especially when he hired professionals to come in to clean up. Because I was like, was this a dream or what? Because it didn't really, we don't know what happened, but if it's true, then it looks like Penelope is done with. Because you're not going to survive unless you have special doctors on hand. I mean, you knocked her to the floor and she started bleeding out. That's what we saw, and I thought it was a dream, so I don't know. But tell me what you guys think. So, after they leave Gary's place, because Gary was talking about, you know, because I think that they were talking about going to the police or whatever. As they're going out the door, he's mumbling that I own the police. I said, wait, how did Gary get all this power? I know that we have new writers and all that, but it's just like they've turned Gary into a love to hate villain. In a way, you kind of want to see his scheming ways, but at the same time, bro, you need to go. In a way, in a sense, if you understand what I mean. So Andy and Fatima, they talk in the car, and Andy wants to go to the police right away. And Fatima's like, well, you don't really have anything to go by. You need to at least tell Jordan what's going on or what you think is going on. Da, 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 da. And Andy agrees to that, and she'll do it that way. Have Jordan make the report, because you'll look crazy. At home, Andy calls Jordan, and Jordan informs her that he's in Macon. It's something that they discussed before, but I guess she forgot about it. He's there doing something for the political thing, and he'll be available tomorrow. So Andy says, you know, I would like to talk with you, blah, 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 blah. And I think he does ask, that may have been the next morning, but anyways, he's calling and say, hey, I haven't really heard from Penelope as of yet, and I wonder what's really going on. And that's when Jordan says, you know, kind of cuts him off by saying that she still needs to talk to him and then being evasive at the same time. Let's see. This is still nighttime. I did talk about something that happened in the morning with Andy and Jordan, but that's not important. Gary and Tanya, this is Hayden's girlfriend, are sexting. And basically he said what he wanted to do to her is to bend her over on his desk, and she responded back in compliance, like she really likes that. So obviously there is a change in Tanya, because I think now she doesn't have to pretend that she hates Gary so much and is so disgusted that she had sex with this dude. She's just laying it low and spread it wide and is ready to do anything for Gary. I find it odd that they went from a seedy hotel to now going right to this office. And Tanya, you didn't think at all that possibly he's got cameras that he can now blackmail you for if you step out of line? Because you're the type that'll do that type of stuff and then act like I really love Hayden when really you've been quite a nasty girl. So we got to see what happens, but I don't think that you're that smart in this whole game of cheating. Hayden had set up a wonderful dinner and all that good stuff, and they were going to do what they do. And then Miss Marie Willis, she calls. She said that she's been trying to get a hold of Andy, and she cannot. And she needs to know what is going on. In her way, she needs to meet with her and him. He cuts things short with Tanya, saying, later on we can have this dinner, but I do have to take this meeting. And she says, oh, go ahead. Then she texts Gary and says that I'm on my way. She gets over there, and they do exactly what they said in the text. So I creep. That's basically her song. In the morning, Zach tells Fatima that Karen called and wants to meet him later on in that night to discuss the paternity test. And long story short, she wants to be there. And of course, Zach is like, okay, but can you leave the Vaseline and sneaker attitude and energy out of the room? And I think Fatima agrees or whatever, but look, we know Fatima stays ready, and she has every right to stay ready. I would. Shoot. I mean, Karen has been sneaky before, so why should she why should Fatima give her any grace or think that she's going to be different? At the office, Fatima and Andy speak for a few minutes. Did you tell Jordan? She said, no, I'm going to tell him later on tonight, later on today, tonight, blah, 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 blah. Hayden comes over being his normal self. He says that you have been missing, and Miss Marie has been really asking about you, blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden, Miss Marie calls, and she says, where have you been? And lays it into Andy. And he was talking about she had some personal stuff going on, and Marie says, I really don't care. You're here to attend to me. I need you to get your personal stuff out of the way, or I'm going to only deal with Hayden. Do I make myself clear? Da, 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 da. I have never... I hope rich people aren't this entitled. I know it is for dramatic effect, but my God, you are rude over a divorce that's taking quite a long time because all you've been is Miss Mouth thus far, Miss Marie. Where do you want to go with this divorce? That's my opinion. Okay, so Sabrina calls Danny and basically says, have you talked to Karen? And Danny's like, why do I gotta talk to her? You were quite mean, or you went kind of low with Karen the last time we were together. And Danny says she went lower with me. Why do I gotta be the bigger person? So Sabrina talks about this is a sister circle, we love each other, da 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 da, and you need to make things right. Danny says, you know what, I'm gonna go by her apartment and I will apologize. Sabrina, being her normal quirky, corny self, is yay, and Danny's not really having that, and basically, I gotta go. Terry, the UPS guy, all of a sudden is handy. Now, that's typical Tyler Perry behavior. For this guy to have everything all in one type of situation. The hero, the knight in shining armor that comes along. He's talking with Pam as he's fixing whatever for the shop, and Terry talks about ask how her hair product is going. Roots to riches. She says everything's going well. It's booming out that she really runs out a lot. And then he suggests, to start studying someone else. I forgot who he said, but Pam didn't know, and she said that she will start researching. Him and Karen talked for a few minutes, all that good stuff. At this moment, it looks like her interest in him has died down, and I think it's because of the weight of telling these two fathers about the children, but that'll be interesting if you ever share that with Terry. Tony comes and visit Danny. Can I tell you, Tony is fine. He's a very attractive dude. That's all I'm going to say. He asked Danny, can he watch the children? He had a meeting that he had to reschedule, and he doesn't have anyone else to babysit. Of course, Danny's trying to see, is there any other options? He says, no, not at this moment. Danny agrees to it. Sabrina goes to the bank, and I think she was walking in, giving her a pep talk since she's in her new position, and then she hears all this fussing. Maurice is fighting with this girl or coworker. I think her name is Sandy or whatever, and they're exchanging insults. The bottom of the fighting, the reason for the fighting is that Sandy is accusing Maurice of stealing and drinking her diet soda that she had for lunch. But the way that they were going in on each other, and mostly Maurice, he ended up saying that she's got white man privilege and da-da-da-da-da-da. And, oh, we know why you're here, and it's only because of Sabrina that was coming out of Sandy's mouth. Sabrina breaks it up and wants to talk with Maurice. Of course, he's like, why I gotta be called out, da-da-da-da-da. He ends up confessing that he did drink the diet soda and says it was for his blood sugar. Of course, stop. Basically, Karen says, chill. They already think that I'm the reason why you're back. And then Maurice was like, you are. Well, you can't let them know that, fool. Like, get it together, sir. Let's not have any more outbursts. Don't be that one again for the office. All right, so Maurice is back home at this point. He's getting ready to go out with his boyfriend. I think it starts with a Q, but I forgot his name, so I don't want to mess it up. But he calls and says, hey, are you ready? Da, 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 da. He said, yes, I'm just putting on the finishing touches. They're going out someplace, and then he said, you better hurry up before a young tenderoni might want to pick me up. That sets Maurice off and says, get home now. Da, 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 da. I think he calls him Mandigo and all that good stuff. And that's what he does. We'll talk about that in just a second. Zach and Fatima, they show up at Karen's home. Karen is like, why is Fatima here? And Zach was like, no. We're going to be at peace today. Da, 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 da. Well, she was not invited. Da, 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 da. Then she ends up saying that I have a special guest that's coming over, and they're wondering who it is. Then there's a knock on the door, and they think it's the special guest, and it's Danny. And Danny comes in and is like, oh, what do we have going on here? And it's about the paternity test. I said, oh, well, I guess I'll stick around for that. But basically, Danny says that, she came over to apologize. And then when she learns about the paternity test, like, oh, you took my advice and went on and did it. Karen and Fatima are upset because Fatima thought that Danny was Fatima thought that she was the one that boosted him to go take this paternity test, but it was Danny. And then Karen was like, how could you do that? Because I was blaming Fatima for getting in the business and pushing this paternity test, and all the while it was my friend backstabbing me. And Danny said, I was not backstabbing you, because I can tell you right now, I would do it right in front of your face. Da, 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 da. Now the special guest has arrived, and it's Mr. Aaron. Aaron is back in the building. I'm sure he's probably a guest or whatever. So Karen goes on and gives her the results of everything, and she says, and everyone's confused, of course. I would be too. Both are still excited. Zach was trying to take a cheap shot at Aaron, whatever. They just kind of tried to look over it. Zach is excited still, and Aaron is excited. I think if he could, he probably would have cried. But Zach was like, despite of how I feel about certain things, I'm so happy about my child, and I hope she's a girl, because I'm ready to tell Michael that he's possibly going to have a girl. And Fatima's just looking at him like, really, Zach, you were doing too much. And I know you have these bursts of excitement, and you're not taking Fatima in consideration, because that was part of her fight towards you before, or at least being upset about, because it's like, don't do that. Like, consider my feelings, even though I know you're excited. My man is having a baby with another woman. So at this point, I think Danny is about to leave, and Karen says, don't tell no one. And she said, why do you think I'm gonna tell everyone? There's more people that could tell it, and we know Danny's gonna tell someone, and it's going to be Sabrina, as you see in the previews if you've watched the whole show. Zach and Fatima leave. Fatima leads in leaving. You can tell that Fatima is upset, and Zach's trying to play it off. So everyone leaves except for Aaron. Aaron wants to talk, but Karen says that, I'm exhausted, and can we talk later? He says yes, and he's got this shining smile on his face in regards to this. I think Aaron thinks that he's going to be able to get back together with Karen. That's my thoughts on everything. Oh, Zach did say with Aaron about the babies, yours is yours and mine is mine. What is all that? I don't understand that, Zach. Stop. So Jordan and Andy, they get together. Jordan's ready to have sex as per usual, but Andy had to pull the brakes and basically spill the beans about Penelope and her theory that Penelope is missing and she thinks that Gary did something. She says that Gary has done some horrible things, and because he's kind of confused, like, what do you mean, blah, 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 blah. At this point, Jordan is getting upset. He calls Penelope, and it goes, and the voicemail is full. So then he throws his phone, and he's very upset. Maurice and his boyfriend, they do talk. Basically, he's ready to take things to the next level and appreciates Maurice for getting rid of his online activity stuff. But he wants to go exclusive. We don't hear actually, we don't see a reaction out of Maurice. I don't think it's going to be all lovey-dovey. What you think, y'all? Danny babysits, and of course, she's acting very awkward. At this point, the children aren't really doing all that stuff like last time, and they seem to be really comfortable with her. Finally, Tony is done with his meeting, and he shows back up. And of course, she says everything was fine in the most awkward way. And he says, you know, you gotta feed these folks, feed especially the boy. He eats everything. She was offering all this odd stuff. She had old pizza and crazy stuff. I just think that Danny now has to relax in regards to someone else's children. My opinion. So Gary is down at the precinct, and he's saying that his fiance is missing, Penelope, and he thinks that Andy has something to do with it. He's trying to lay it on thick that he thinks that the ex wants him back, and he's crazy and is willing to do anything. At the same time, Andy and Jordan are coming in, and they were about to make a report. Basically, Gary beat Andy to telling what needed to be happened, and now Gary is able to tell his story, and flip it on Andy. Andy, you got to be a whole lot more careful, because that was so dumb to try to you thought you were going to get Gary to crack, but you're just not smart at this right now, unfortunately. But that was the end of the show. Y'all can tell me what you think. Tell me, a lot of people are just not feeling it online and think that Fatima just needs to break up with Zach because this is just getting too complicated. People hate the fact that Karen is having Zach's baby. It is what it is. Sabrina said, hey, I'm here. She wants to be ride or die. Should Fatima back out of her original pact with Zach? Or should she stay in it, as she did say that she wanted? I think Zach has to become a lot more sensitive to the whole situation. Be excited. I think you need to just, if you need to blow off steam or need to give out your excitement, talk to Danny. Talk to some of your friends, because it's not a good situation for Fatima, and she's not feeling, I don't want to say secure, but she's not feeling respected in this relationship and with this situation. I just think Andy operates kind of dumb sometimes. Danny, you're going to be fine. Hopefully you don't do anything that is detrimental to your relationship. Sabotage the relationship. Sabrina and Rick, oh, I forgot to mention them. They just had a short scene. They watched this erotic type of show, and they ended up getting it on in the most corniest way as Sabrina can be. I think that Maurice is not going to commit to his boyfriend. I think he has a problem with that, but we shall see. And that's about it. But we're back. We still don't have a Fatima trailer, and they just started filming season 4. So I need a trailer to happen, but I don't think that we're going to get it until probably the end, towards the end of this part B of season 7, unfortunately. And I think that they are filming for season 8 too, for Sistas. So I'm expecting Fatima to come back probably in August or September. That's my guess. The latest October. But I'm ready for a trailer at least. How about y'all who actually watch it? But that's all I do have. I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Please like, subscribe, and get in the comments below and share what you think. Until next time, peace.